You leave your gun in your car? Why? Stop doing it. It's people leaving their gun in their vehicle all the time that we have articles like this coming out. And it's happening all across the country. I mean, look at all this. How much does it take? How many times does it have to happen before people learn?
Mobile police say the gun used in this shooting was stolen from a car early last month. It's a problem that officers continue to encounter at crime scenes across the city. A party interrupted by gunfire. A 7-year-old girl and 17-year-old injured in the shootout.
Isaiah, anything you want to say? Kendrick, anything you want to say to the victim's family?
Now, deputies in Hillsborough County are searching for thieves caught on camera looking for guns in locked and unlocked cars. The crooks specifically look for unlocked cars, and police say one careless act by gun owners enables these criminals. News Channel 8's Avery Cotton is live in one of the areas hit, and Avery, we are starting to see more and more of this crime.
We certainly are, Jen. Two of the suspects were actually caught on camera walking up and down Patina Drive here in Tampa, checking for unlocked cars. But, this is actually a trend that's happening all over the Bay Area. It's too easy for them, going door to door searching for unlocked cars. They're looking to steal guns from cars. And then these criminals have these guns on the street. Talia Solana lives in Gibsonton. Her friend was visiting when he got hit.
And he noticed that he got his gun stolen from his car.
She tells me his car was locked. They're still not sure how the suspect got inside. That same night, Sean Marovich's gun was taken from his car.
I reached under my console and I realized my pistol was missing.
But his doors were unlocked. Why was your gun in an unlocked car?
Stupidity. First time, that was the one. I was 21 years in the military.
Yeah, police tell me that there are several ways that kids get their hands on guns, but one of the most prevalent and easiest ways is an unlocked car. Videos taken straight from the Facebook pages of young people in our community show what appear to be kids waving guns in the street.
We're very familiar with this type.
And it wasn't long ago I was thinking to myself, do I even need a truck gun? I carry a gun on me everywhere I go anyways. And I imagine in some cases it would be worth it. I imagine some cases it would be good. But I kept it in there every day for years and years and years. And obviously it was not a good plan because it's no longer in my possession. I had a Glock 19 and I've had it for years and it's gone. And so I made a police report immediately and the officer came out. I made the report. This guy was really cool. He said, don't feel bad about this. Same thing happened to me. And in my case, they got two guns and we just learn from this and move on. I even saw a billboard in the city next to mine that said, lock your doors at all times because this is what's happening. The officer told me kids are coming in, going house to house. And my vehicle was pulled up right by my garage, too. So these people were quite bold.
Now look, if they'll steal from a parked law enforcement vehicle in the driveway, they'll steal from your vehicle. If there's criminals who are bold enough to break into a law enforcement officer's vehicle, they'll break into yours. Or I'm not saying there's never a good reason to leave a gun in your car, and I'm not saying that there's never a good reason you might want to have a gun in your vehicle. However, when you can carry the gun on your person and bring it into your house with you, there's no reason to leave a gun in your vehicle. Now, I know sometimes people have to leave a gun in their vehicle because they work somewhere and their work doesn't allow them to bring their firearm with them into work. And I understand that. You may not want to bring it in with you if you don't want to risk getting fired or getting in trouble. I understand some people have to go into gun-free zones like courthouses or schools to pick up their kids. Depending on their state, they may not be allowed to bring that firearm into the school with them, and they may have to leave it in there. But most of the guns being stolen are not being stolen out of cars parked outside of the workplace or parked outside of a gun-free zone. Yeah, they happen from time to time, but most of the guns being stolen from vehicles are being stolen out of unlocked vehicles parked in people's own driveways overnight. And when that's happening, there's no excuse for it. That's just laziness, carelessness. So bring your gun inside with you every day when you get home if you can't bring it into work. And if you have to leave your gun in your vehicle on a regular basis, like, you go to work 5 days a week and you can't bring your gun into work, take steps to make sure it doesn't get stolen. If you take these steps, it significantly decreases the chances that your firearm will be stolen. First, if you lock your vehicle, that decreases the chances that your firearm will be stolen. 2, if the gun is not visible from outside the vehicle, that decreases the chances that your gun will be stolen. If you use a portable gun safe, that decreases the chances that it will be stolen. If you minimize the time that you leave a gun in your vehicle, that significantly decreases the chances that your gun will be stolen. And if you take all those steps, or most of those steps, there's a very, very slim chance that your gun will be stolen. Now, I'm not saying it's necessary to do all that every time you leave a gun in your vehicle when you go to pick up your kids at school if you can't bring it in with you legally for the 5 to 10 minutes you're there, as long as you lock your vehicle and keep it out of sight, like in a glove box. But when you're at work for 8 to 12 hours a day, 5 days a week or more, yeah, you probably need to take a little extra precautions other than just locking your vehicle. And I've heard all kinds of excuses people make for it. I have kids and I leave it in my vehicle because I don't want my kids to have access to it inside the house. Well, if your kids can get your car keys, they can still access your vehicle with a gun, potentially. And furthermore, there are steps you can take inside the home to mitigate the risk of your kids coming into contact with it. And you can get a portable safe or bring your portable safe inside with you and keep it stored in there when you're inside the house, when it's not under your control, of course. If you're in the shower, you're just relaxing and don't want to have the gun under your control immediately near you, yeah, put it in a portable safe or invest in a large safe if you have the money. Don't leave it out in your vehicle every day and every night, though. And I've heard other people say, well, that's my truck gun. Well, let's talk about truck guns.
How do you use a truck gun properly? How do you best implement a truck gun? Say my targets right there are our threat. There's my truck. I'm gonna go to my truck, access my truck gun, and eliminate the target. Y'all ready? Here we go.
We gotta go! Oh, we got some crazy motherfuckers out here. We ain't hanging out for this shit. We gone. Oh, we out of here, buddy. Woo!
That's how you use a truck gun. You get in your truck, you get the fuck out of the situation. Are y'all crazy?
In all seriousness, that YouTuber that I showed there, he had some good points. It was pretty funny. I agree with him overall, but I'm not saying there's not a good reason or a good time that you might want to have a truck gun, or there's not some benefits of a truck gun. But for the most part, the disadvantages of having a truck gun are more likely to occur than the advantages of having a truck gun. But I'm not saying there's not times or reasons you might want to have a truck gun. But first things first, a truck gun should never be your primary carry. A truck gun should never substitute your EDC gun. If anything, a truck gun should supplement your everyday carry gun. It should never substitute your everyday carry gun. If you rely on a gun in your car to protect you, it most likely is not going to help you in most scenarios. You're not going to have time to say, hey, let me run to my car quick if you get mugged in the parking lot of the bank, if you get attacked in the parking lot of the mall or the grocery store or whatever. Most defensive gun use scenarios aren't going to occur inside your vehicle. Sure, it might cover you for the one scenario of being carjacked, maybe. That's not to say it doesn't make sense sometimes to have a truck gun to supplement your everyday carry and have it as an extra gun or an extra measure. But again, the scenarios that a truck gun would benefit you are very rare. The chances of your truck gun being stolen if you leave it in there all the time are higher than the scenarios occurring where you would actually get the benefits or advantages of having a truck gun with you to supplement your EDC. Sure, there are certain scenarios where you may want a bigger gun with more capacity that's easier to shoot. But again, that scenario, at least in most places, isn't very likely. It's a lot less likely than most offensive gun use scenarios. Most offensive gun use scenarios are going to occur, your everyday carry should be able to solve or handle. Or maybe when you're out of town, and you want to be prepared to, have a long gun with you of some kind in case, crap hits the fan while you're out of town. That makes sense as long as you can store it somewhere safer once you get to where you're going. And also, road rage scenarios, there's considerations like that where it would be at a disadvantage. If you only have a truck gun and maybe you're blocked in, you can't drive away from whatever's happening and you have to exit your vehicle for whatever reason, or maybe you don't want to be at a tactical disadvantage being in a seated position by someone who's much larger than you and you can't drive off because you're boxed in or whatever. Now you have to choose before anything even happens. They may not even attack you. Now you got to choose to step out with a gun in your hand or step out of your vehicle while your gun's still in your truck. If you have a gun on your person, then you can step out of the vehicle without ever having to reach for it and still have it on you if you need it, but never have to present yourself as the aggressor either. So just things like that to think about. Most of the time, it doesn't make sense to have a truck gun if you're going to be away from your truck for long periods of time. If you just really got to have a truck gun, make sure there's a way you can secure it very well and keep it out of sight and take some of those other steps I mentioned earlier. But with individual liberty comes individual responsibility. And when we neglect individual responsibility, the government's more than happy to swoop in and take that place for us. Let's be responsible. These are our rights we're talking about here. Don't give something for the anti-gun people to use against us to take away your right to have the gun in the first place. Don't give them something to use against you and be able to make us look like irresponsible, lazy people who are just arming criminals because we're too lazy to bring our guns inside when we get home. Most of us know better, and we don't have to be told this. It's mostly people who are new to firearms, who are casually into firearms and don't know as much about firearms, or there's even some people in the gun community who have done it. One guy who claimed to be in the guns, and he reported his gun stolen out of his unlocked truck, parked in his driveway overnight. And that was bad enough, but then as he's telling me about this, as I'm taking the report, he tells me his wife had a gun stolen out of her vehicle several months prior. What? Did you not learn the first time? I mean, damn, everybody makes mistakes. I get it. No one's perfect, but damn, 2 times? Oh, and I forgot. If you do any shopping on Amazon at all, make sure you go through Amazon Smile to make all your purchases, and be sure and select the Gun Owners Foundation as the charity of your choice. When you make a purchase through Amazon Smile and select a charity, Amazon donates a portion of the profit that they get off of your purchase to the charity of your choice. So be sure and you go through Amazon Smile to make your purchases and select the Gun Owners Foundation by using the link included here. That money will go towards the legal fund where the Gun Owners Foundation will fight anti-gun laws. And it may not seem like a whole lot when you look to see how much of your purchase actually went towards your chosen charity. But if you do a lot of shopping on Amazon, it adds up over time. And if every member of Gun Owners of America or every gun rights activist did this in the country, I mean, just think if you had millions of gun owners doing this every time they made a purchase through Amazon, that would add up pretty quickly. Even if you just had thousands doing it every time they made a purchase through Amazon, it would still be a significant portion of money that would add up eventually over time that the Gun Owners Foundation wouldn't have had otherwise. It doesn't cost you any extra money. It just takes the extra second or two of your time.